And welcome back to Hero Power, episode 29. You don't have enough fingers. You don't have enough fingers. Episode 29. And we are just a few days out from an exciting event we'll talk about here in a minute. As always, I am your host, Avantes, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Zeroshio.
What is up, gang?
And Versika.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, guys. First, we're going to start tonight. Versika, got some exciting news about our partners over at Viforce.
Yes, so if you are going to be coming to the event this weekend in Knoxville that we'll be talking about some more later, you are going to get an opportunity to try out the Impulse, which is Viforce's high-end computer. We're going to have it on display at the event, so stop by, ask questions, and sit down and play a game of Hearthstone, and check it out.
All right, sounds awesome.
All right,
Zeroshio, you got something.
Before we get started, we have. I just want to give a shout out before we do anything else to our first patron of the Hero Power era, Matt. Happy birthday, bro. I just want to say thank you for supporting us. Thanks to all our patrons, but today is Matt. Goes by iButtle if you're on Battle.net with him. Happy birthday.
Absolutely.
Be glad we're not singing to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But happy birthday. We're excited to have you as part of the family. All right. With that said, guys, we got 2 emails this week that I'm really excited. I'm going to read the first one, and then I think Zeroshio is going to handle the second one. So our first email is subject titled Patron vs. Cthulhu. And it says, "Hi guys, I've been listening to / watching your podcast for several episodes now, and I have to say it's probably my favorite." Woo! Thank you.
All right. In the email? No. Wait.
You guys have great chemistry and an easygoing format that's both entertaining and instructive. I sometimes try the decks you discuss and play, although I did not have much success with the Zoo deck today. Yeah, neither did we. However, I did just play 3 games in a row with a patron OTK deck. The results were hilarious, and I thought you might be interested. In each of these games, I was playing against Cthulhu decks, fighting for board until I could get my patrons going. I'm not sure why. Perhaps my opponents were feeling the looming presence of my patrons, or perhaps they just really wanted to play Cthulhu. But in each game, he landed on the board to do battle with my 4 or 5 patrons and frothing Berserker. At this point, everything seemed to play out in slow motion, as Cthulhu fired off what my opponent hoped would be the salvos of my demise, only for an endless chorus of, "Everyone, get in here!" to greet them as my patrons went into summoning frenzy, and my Berserker frothed, and somehow stayed alive, but very, very angry. Once Cthulhu had reached the end of his onslaught, my board looked almost exactly as it did before his attack, with the one exception being my frothing Berserker, who really, really wanted to hit something hard. In the third game, where the Cthulhu had grown to 23-23, good old frothing ended up as a 33-1 and was in a fearful rage. I think you can guess what happened next in each of those games. Actually, the first 2 conceded immediately, while the third one decided to watch my Berserker execute his 33 damage to face. A lot of fun was had, at least by me, but I'm realistic enough to know that next time it could be me on the receiving end. Sorry for the super long email. Hope you enjoyed my tale. Happy Hearthstoning, and don't forget to use your hero power. Cheers, Intrigued. Oh, Intrigued, that was amazing. Well played, well told. That was great. Possibly one of my favorite emails. I love to hear from you guys, man. That was awesome.
And kudos to the guy who took the 33 in the face instead of conceding. I like that.
That sounds like a story right there. And I want to point out this email came to us from Intrigued from a UK extension. So thank you guys out in Europe that listen to our show. We really appreciate all the support. I know it's hard to watch us live, but it's really awesome to see that we got some listeners out there in the old UK.
Yeah, and speaking of playing the decks that we feature on the show, which, by the way, I love that you take our decks and that you try them out. I hope that we do a good job of explaining them during our play portion. That being said, we have a surprise for our patrons. This week, we're playing an N'Zoth Rogue deck. This is a version of the same deck that Tice used in the recent tournament. But I actually started playing N'Zoth Rogue as soon as the set came out as well. And while the guts are the same, mine has a very different way of dealing with the end game. And I've actually dubbed it an ambush rogue. So, patrons of the show, I'm actually going to record 3 to 5 games and walk you through how to play my ambush rogue. It's exclusive only to patrons. Log on with your Patreon account and you'll be able to see those soon. I'm going to be recording them probably tomorrow, which will be Thursday the 19th. So I'm hoping to have them up by the weekend. You just can't use it against me at the tournament. No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely. I would love to play a mirror match. But yeah, so I love that you take the decks and play them. And hopefully tonight's deck, we got Zeroshio hooked on it. Hopefully we can hook you guys on it too.
Yeah, and on that note, we are going to try to make sure to see how it is. Every week we always do 2 or 3 different deck ideas for the show. We end up sticking with one. Instead of just throwing those couple decks away, we're going to try to do another clip it, just a short, 2-3 games with those other decks, and post them up for our patrons, just for our patrons to see, so that if you do like to go out there and you're a regular listener and you want to play some of our decks that we use, then that'll give you some more options and opportunities to rank up the ladder. Can't always promise they'll get you a lot of ranks on the ladder, but they'll definitely be decks that we like to play.
Yeah.
And we tend to have our own takes on the decks. Like right now, I have one deck of my 16 deck slot or 18 deck slots. One of those decks is a net deck. The other 17 are all either versions of those net decks that I've put my own spin on, or complete homebrew from myself. And I know that Zeroshio and Avantes, I know they play around with their own decks as well. Dreadstein, Rito.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So hopefully this will be an ongoing thing.
Cool. So, Zeroshio, why don't you tell us about the second email?
So we got an email from Matt M. Subject, so there I was. Playing on ladder as a tempo mage, warrior gets turn 8 golden monkey. I take it out with my faceless summoner and ping. Turn 9 drops Confessor Peltris and gets Yasarj, which pulls out another body. I flame strike and take out Peltris. Next turn he plays Herald Village, giving him a copy of Yasarj with his existing Yasarj, which pulls out a Chilmal and a Fiola Lightbane. I YOLO Rag and ping the 1/1 Yasarj. Rag kills Fiola, but it's not enough. He promptly kills me with a combined 21 attack. I immediately add the guy and have a good laugh. GG. Love this game.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you all remember from last week, I'm starting to do blogs of So There I Was. I haven't done one yet this week. I'm actually doing that on purpose. I want to get into this weekend and see what kind of So There I Was stories I can come up with. And I'm hoping to post probably 2 next week, one on Monday when we get back. But Matt, that there is a definite So There I Was story. And we really do appreciate it. I'm glad that he accepted your friend request so you can have a good laugh about it. Because after that, I don't know if I would have.
All right, guys. So let's. We got no iTunes reviews this week. So if you haven't done so yet, do us a big, huge favor. Pull us up on iTunes and give us a 5-star review. Tell us what you like about the show. Tell us what you don't like about the show. We love to hear from you. Jumping right into the news tonight. We've got a little bit to talk about. Not
Just a little.
Not too terrible much, really, if you think about it. But the big news this week is, and we talked about this briefly last week on the show, Dreamhack Austin. We had talked about, primarily we focused on the fact that Chalky won Dreamhack Austin, but that wasn't, and that was a huge story, but really one of the biggest stories to come out of that was not a positive one. And it's really a topic that's kind of touchy for a lot of people, and it's racism and hate. And it's not something I'm proud of the gaming community for. And I know this is the internet gives you anonymity, and it's a societal topic. But we as gamers who want to see esports become mainstream have to do a better job of presenting ourselves. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, last weekend or 2 weekends ago during DreamHack, Chalky was playing against a relative newcomer in the scene, Terrence Miller. He goes by Terrence M. He plays for Gale Force Esports, and he's an African-American Hearthstone player. Well, there was really a lot of disparaging remarks made in Twitch chat, and it really overwhelmed the moderators. They first of all, there weren't enough moderators to handle the number of viewers that was in Twitch chat. But that's another issue combined. So there was a lot of talk about this. In fact, our friends over at Well Met, Kevin Hovdestad, brought this up on their show right after DreamHack. He was very, very upset about this topic, and I don't blame him. It's a very disgusting thing to see. But as of yesterday, Blizzard has actually made an official statement regarding this issue. This is from Mike Morheim, the president of Blizzard. He states, "We are extremely disappointed by the hateful, offensive language used by some of the online viewers during the DreamHack Austin event the weekend before last. One of our company values is play nice, play fair. We feel there's no place for racism, sexism, harassment, or other discriminatory behavior in or outside of the gaming community. This is obviously a larger societal problem that affects us on many levels. We can only hope that when instances like this come to light, it encourages people to be more thoughtful and positive, and to fully reject mean-spirited commentary, whether within themselves or from their fellow gamers. To help combat this type of behavior during live events, we have reached out to players, streamers, and moderators, along with partners like Twitch, DreamHack, and others, to get consensus and collaborate on what to do differently moving forward. To that end, we're investigating a pilot program that Twitch has in the works to streamline moderation and combat ban evasion. We're also updating our esports tournament partner policies with a stronger system of checks, balances, and repercussions to provide a better chat experience around our content. We believe these are important steps to take to help address the related issues, but we acknowledge that they only address part of the problem. This is ultimately an industry-wide issue, and it will take all of us to make a real impact." I think he covers the big swath of the issue, but as I said previously, this is something we have to do as gamers to present ourselves and our games. We want to see these things succeed. You see people. This isn't just an esports problem. This isn't just an anonymity problem. Obviously, you see people at professional sporting events like the NFL or the MLB, where they might have had too much to drink at the ballpark and they get a little obnoxious. It's part of it, it's part of the experience, but there's a point where you really have to think about what you're saying. When you're taunting someone or you're BMing someone, when you get to being racist and harassing and sexism and discriminatory behavior, that's kind of a whole nother level, I feel. Zeroshia, what are your thoughts on this topic?
First, this young man had his family, his parents watching this, and they saw this. And while he did really good and he took second place and has some good prize money, if my child or my family member was dealing with this kind of harassment, I would question whether they should put themselves in this kind of environment. And I would hate for that to be a decision why this young man doesn't become a powerhouse, and he can become a powerhouse in the Hearthstone tournament scene. This Terrence, this young man, he is gifted, and he shouldn't have to deal with this. Nobody should have to deal with this. I like that this issue has been brought to light. I hate the situation that caused it to be brought to light. I don't think we've seen the end of it. I honestly hate that we have to talk about it because it just adds power to it. Avanti's brought up Well Met, Kevin Hovdestad, and John and JR over at Well Met. They did a very long and lengthy discussion about that, and we're not going to get as deep into it as they did. Please go listen to their episodes. They gave a lot of good ideas on how this can change, and I could parrot those, but it wouldn't give it as much strength and validity. The long to short story of it is it's horrible. You shouldn't do it. If you see somebody or know somebody that does this, you should reprimand them and tell them, hey, you're not making this community any better. So please just band together as a community and strengthen this issue. I would love to see more talent rise in Hearthstone despite any racial barriers, gender barriers, anything. I just don't understand why this happened. And again, I've never felt strongly opposed to any race or sex, gender, what you call it. I've just never been raised that way, so I just don't understand it. It's horrible, and I'm going to get past it to Versika because I'm done talking about it. I don't want to fuel this fire anymore.
Well, you know that I'm not short on opinions, so I have an opinion on this, but I'm going to wait until I simmer down a little bit about it. If it's something that someone wants to talk about a little more lengthy, they can send an email, or they can find me on Twitch. But what I will say is, I don't like harassment in any form. It makes me angry. I don't care what kind of harassment it is. No one should be harassed by the way they look or by the way they think. You may think differently, and that's your right. And I'm not here to tell you how to think, and we aren't here to tell you how to think. I'm not here to tell you how to act. We aren't here to tell you how to act. But when you participate in an event where you are going to come in contact with people who think differently than you, who look differently than you, then you have to understand that that is not the time and the place to necessarily make your viewpoints known publicly. there are times and places for all of that. Like I said, you can feel the way you feel. I may think it's wrong, but if you choose to publicly express those opinions and beliefs, then that forces me, in order to protect those that I feel that are harassed, to publicly oppose your views and beliefs. And that's a situation that I don't want anyone to get into, because it's not the place, it's not the forum to have those kinds of discussions. This is an event, this is a tournament where we celebrate the winners and we celebrate the great games played. To do anything less, to bring that type of conversation into it, diminishes what the event stands for, and it's just not right. So, if you publicly harass anyone, then just expect that you're going to get banned, that there are going to be repercussions, because we protect our own.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to leave it. We protect our own.
Yeah. So Twitch did make a statement, and they said, "We take harassment very seriously and understand how important this is for the entire Twitch community. We currently approach chat behavior by providing broadcasters with tools, education, and autonomy to police their own channels. While in this instance the broadcaster was unable to fully prevent the described behavior, Twitch has a responsibility to broadcasters and players to provide a welcoming environment. As such, as Blizzard noted, we are exploring new tools and processes to increase awareness and mitigation of these issues, and will continue to take action against chatters who committed reported violations. We can't comment on specifics at this time, but we do have a team dedicated to improving these aspects of the chat experience, with a lot of internal progress already that we hope to share with the community soon." So it's good that both Twitch and Blizzard are working together to address this issue. It sounds like there may be some new tools coming to help moderate the chat rooms in the future. Because, I mean, guys, esports is a big deal. And they, like Rasika and Zeroshio both said, esports athletes, like regular professional athletes, really shouldn't have to deal with this kind of thing to do what they love and to play the games that we love. It's a culture that's gotten out of hand, and hopefully we can rein it back in. So with that said,
I want to throw one more thing, just one small little thing.
Yeah.
I hear people all the time say Twitch chat is Twitch chat. That is unacceptable. I've said it. Well, Twitch chat is Twitch chat. Now, I'm not going to say that anymore. That's not acceptable. And if that continues to be acceptable to everybody else and to Twitch, somebody's going to step up, make a new product where that's not going to be called for anymore. They're going to put stronger restrictions on this type of stuff, and Twitch is going to lose customers. They're going to go out of business. This cannot. It just can't be stand for anymore. We just can't do it anymore. I'm done with it. I can't condone Twitch chat just being Twitch chat.
All right. So, with that said, let's talk about something a little happier.
Yes, this weekend.
Let's start with last weekend.
This past weekend. Yes,
let's start with last weekend. Last weekend was the European Spring Preliminaries. So we are gearing up for the Americas Spring Preliminaries. We'll talk about that in a minute. But last weekend we had some great matches played. We started with a field of about 128 players, I think, and narrowed it down to our top 8 who will be going on to compete in the European Spring Championships. And those top 8, and I believe you've got these in order here, don't you?
I sure do.
Okay, so...
Well, I kind of do.
Okay.
The thing about the qualifiers is unlike the championships, they don't continue to first place, second place, and so forth. It's a double elimination winners and loser bracket. So what we have here are the top 8 that qualified for a spring championship. Places 1 through 4 are in no particular order, but they're the top out of the winners bracket, and the place 5 through 8's out of the losers bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So the top places 1 through 4 is Crane 333, Loyan, Tice, and AK Wonder.
Okay.
Now that's not necessarily 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's for places 1 through 4. Places 5 through 8 are Inner, Cassie, George C, and Turna. Now, Turna is who I'm going to be looking at because he played some fabulous matches and fought his way through the losers bracket and beat some notable names. This place 5 through 8, to me, Turner should be up that 1 through 4. He could easily be one of the tops in Europe.
Yeah. Forsika, did you have anybody that stood out to you?
Yeah, so I'm going to correct you for just a second, Zerocio. It's Casey.
It's Kate. What I say?
Casey. You say Cassie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Casey.
Casey. So, and he's my dark horse. I watched most of his matches, and he didn't play the opponent's deck as much as he played the opponent, and I loved it. Loved it. He put the pressure on them. He did not give them time during his turn to think out what they needed to do or how to deal with his board state. He moved quickly. He was decisive. He knew what he wanted to do, and he didn't draw out that. I mean, his games were over fast, but you could see the pressure that it put on his opponents. It reminded me a lot of it was Pin Ping Ho last year, but it was he played Firebat in the championship during the first World Championship.
Tiddler Celestial?
Tiddler Celestial.
Yeah.
You know, they had their turns where they took forever, you know, having to manage a board state. But for the most part, when they could dictate the pace of the game, they dictated the pace of the game. And that's exactly what Casey did. And I think it won him a couple of games that if his opponents hadn't been pressured, they would have probably made some different decisions. And so I enjoyed watching that. I enjoyed watching him play their opponents. And I always enjoy watching Tice. Crane 333 was a surprise. His first match, I wasn't very impressed, but his play and confidence, you could watch it increase as the 2 days went on. So I mean, by the end of it, he looked like he belonged there, and I think he felt like he belonged there.
Yeah.
The first day, I don't know that it was so sure. He was so sure of himself, but you can see that confidence. And then AKA Wonder, I think, was another big surprise. I had never heard of AKA Wonder before. So this was my first exposure to watching him play, but he played some solid matches. And
so my pick, and I think it's funny that all three of our primary picks were out of the 5 through 8 group. But my pick for this tournament to watch was George C. George C is a spectacular player, and I say that because he is the European version of Amnesiac. He's very young. In fact, I want to say he's around 16. So, I mean, he is playing at an extremely high level, and he's playing very, very well right now for you know, in these big tournaments. And to come out and place in top 8 like he did in this event, I think really surprised a lot of people who didn't know who he was. And I even, you know, I had heard that he was young and that he was good, but to actually see him and be able to compare him to somebody like Amnesiac, who is a young up and coming star player, I mean, you can just see a lot of the similarities, and I think he is going to be a big player to watch moving forward.
And to expand on that just a moment, one of the things that separates the experienced players from the newer players is how they handle a loss.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the match where George C. lost, and then I watched the next match that he played, and you would never know that he lost the match before. from the looks of it, it had very little effect on him. Maybe a couple of plays that I would have done a little bit differently, but I'm not a professional Hearthstone player, so that's understandable. Could have been nerves. Maybe he misplayed it. Maybe he didn't see it. But still, it's you watch some of the younger players, they get one loss down and they come into the next match and something starts to not go their way and you can almost see the bottom drop out. And it's nice to see someone that young be able to come back and post a solid performance after. And his loss was kind of rough.
I want to answer a question in chat from Matt at Arms. Didn't Casey take out Osaka? I don't believe that's true.
It was Honor, wasn't it?
No, it was Turna.
Was it? It was Turna. Yeah,
and
you're right.
And I believe I was sitting at your house watching this match, Avantes.
I was actually just trying to look it up.
Turna and Osaka were playing, and you could just see the look on his face, like, "Oh my gosh,
when he knew he had
going to qualify.
Yeah.
I'm beating last year's champion." You could just see the joy in his eyes that he was knocking out such a favorable person. Now,
he was
I had a little bit.
That third round, it went to match 3, right? And it was.
I think it went to 5.
I thought it was only 3.
No, there was best of 5 for that round.
Okay, well, I know it was the last match.
Yeah,
it was his Control Paladin versus Osaka's Freeze Mage,
mm-hmm.
and he had that Consecrate sitting in his hand. You knew if he played it right, he wouldn't have to pop the Ice Block, and then great drama. If you want a match that's going to put you on the edge of your seat, I mean, most of those matches are kind of boring because Freeze Mage tends to stall out the game. I love watching Chess Dude play Freeze Mage for the reason that he keeps it exciting. Osaka played an amazing match. I don't think he could have made any different plays to come out on top. He was just. So. It was really. It's if you don't watch any of the matches between those two, watch the final one. It's worth it.
Now I will tell you this: I was very critical about the spring prelims. Not the winter prelims. The winter prelims in Europe. I thought everybody brought just regular cookie cutter decks, and you saw a lot of no names come out, and they weren't. To me, it wasn't exciting to watch. This was exciting to watch. We saw a lot of named players get pretty far in the tournament. They didn't get knocked. A lot of them didn't get knocked out early. Osaka went right up to the very end. I do recognize names on here. I've seen Crane 333 before. Loyan has been a big practice partner and does a lot of decks on Hearthstone. And so his stuff is out there. He's a big ladder player. Tice, obviously, we know who he is. I've actually heard of AKA Wonder before. Again, kind of like Loyan, he builds decks and he's more of a practice partner. And then the 5 through 8, those are ones I haven't really heard of. It's good to see that kind of mix of some seasoned players and some new players. This is how the tournament should be, and I think a lot of this is because Whispers of the Old God just came out, so you're seeing people come up with their own ideas and techs. You're seeing a lot of the same classes and deck concepts, but totally different cards in it, like multiple different versions of N'Zoth decks and different classes, and even within the same classes, they play them differently. So I'm just really excited for this weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I won't necessarily say I complained about stale meta for months. It got to the point where, I mean, I really wasn't logging in very much. I was just preparing for the show. I've not even logged in to Heroes of the Storm except to accept my portrait from watching the tournament. It's been Overwatch and Hearthstone for since Whispers came out. I love the meta where it's at. I love the new expansion, and I do agree with you. I think Whispers had a great impact on the tournament, but I also think that Standard is playing a big part in this as well.
Yes, and when I say that, I meant standard as well. That whole new era of Hearthstone.
And we are seeing more Inspire cards. You're starting to see those cards that people didn't think were so great in the Grand Tournament, and now suddenly they have synergy with other cards that people didn't even think about before. And then it's like, what? Battlefield Medic? Where did that come from? You know?
Yeah. Thunderbluff Valiant.
Yeah.
Is an evolved shaman.
And Kodo Rider. Yeah, I mean, there's
yeah.
all kinds of great cards that feature that Inspire mechanic that are starting to really make their presence known.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, like you said, that gets us really excited for this weekend, because what's this weekend? The Americas Spring Preliminaries. And guys, it's going to be awesome. There are events all over the country. We talked about this a little bit last week. If you can, make it out to one. It's worth the drive. There's going to be some great Hearthstone being played. There's going to be side events run all weekend long. And I know us in Knoxville, the ones, since we're doing the event, we're going to have a spectators lounge. If you're not familiar, basically, we have worked it out. We have acquired a big projector. We are going to put Hearthstone on a wall, and we're going to have a little lounge area set up where you can hang out with other Hearthstone players and watch the tournament live with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're already planning. We've got a side event tournament planned for Saturday, and then we have the Knoxville Hearthstone Open on Sunday. And we're going to be running 8-player flight tournaments all weekend long. As soon as we can get 8 people signed up, we'll start an event. I am a little disappointed because I had planned on trying to run a Tavern Brawl tournament this weekend. And then what does Blizzard do? They bring us Unite Against Mechazod this week.
I got my pack.
I got my pack.
I will not be getting my pack. I'm not going through that again.
I got my pack because my opponent, we were winning. And all of a sudden, he starts roping. And I'm like, oh no, come on. It says your opponent has left. And I'm like, oh, all that work. And it gave me the win because he left. So thank you, whoever I was paired with. I don't remember your name. But yeah, Unite Against Mechazod. That's the Tavern Brawl this week. We're not even going to talk about it. It's not worth talking about.
What are the 2 classes this time?
Paladin, Priest.
Paladin and Priest. And
long.
Yeah, so
I'm just not.
My second match, I was playing Paladin, my opponent was playing Priest, and we kind of just fell into a rhythm of keeping each other healed. He started building up a board. I played Ice Howl, hit Mechazod for 10. Of course, my guy lived because his power wasn't high enough yet. And then, lo and behold, he built up a board of all minions that get bigger when you heal. So we just started healing the crap out of each other, and he hit Mechazod for like 20-point OTK. So it can be done. You just have to.
Yeah, it's not one I want to do.
But it's not conducive to running a Tavern Brawl tournament.
No, it's not.
So that kind of upset me, but you know, what can you do? We don't control these things.
Talking about last week's Tavern Brawl, what did you guys end up playing? What was the last 2 cards that you ended up putting together to play?
And we're talking about the Tavern Brawl that was
top 2.
Top 2, where
top
you pick 2 cards and play the whole time. Yep. I did a lot of different varieties, but the one I stuck with the most was Fist of Jaraxxus and Soulfire.
What about you, Avantes?
I was that guy. It was Cold Light Oracle and
Naturalize.
I was that guy.
Here, head shake. There's a permanent head shake.
So I came up with the backstab Beneath the Grounds to counter that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I came up with another card that countered it too. Another 2 cards. Playing Druid, I used Innervate and Illidan.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Wow,
It was really disgusting. And then I moved over to playing Elemental Destruction, Shaman, playing Elemental Destruction and Volcanic Drake.
But going back a step real quick, the Americas Spring Prelim, come out to Knoxville if you're close. I think the closest one to us is Fairfax, Virginia, and then somewhere down in Florida.
No. It's us in Fairfax, Virginia on the East Coast.
There's not one in Florida anymore?
Nope.
Okay.
So
Wow.
they were supposed to be 32 events across the country. They apparently had issues finding venues at some locations, so they're only doing 23 total.
I know there was 12 in the United States only. So if you qualified, I believe they've already had to submit their venues. We should be getting that information within the next
24
day.
hours.
But join us up here. We're going to have a great event. We've actually gotten some messages of people that are wanting to bring their crews of 10 and 20 people. If you're looking for hotels in the area, the Cedar Bluff area is probably the best place to go. There are some on Lovell Road. Those two roads are the closest to the venue. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you get to see a awesome Hearthstone podcaster because Espo's coming.
That's right. It won't be us.
Espo from Legend of the Innkeeper. If you haven't watched that show, you definitely should. They have 3 great hosts. Four great hosts. Vestidius, Squishy Dragon, Arianwin, and Espo. Though Arianwin doesn't come on the show that often. She still pops in every now and then. So definitely check them out. Hit them up. They're a great show, and Espo's going to come out and hang out with us that weekend. So I'm really excited. I'm really giddy because that's my wingman. So yeah, please come out, have fun. We're gonna have, like Ivani said, we're gonna have little flight tournaments, and we're also gonna have a kind of one main event. We have the main event for the weekend, then we're gonna have one major side event on Saturday, and then one on Sunday. And those are our local fireside gatherings we have in Knoxville with the Knoxville Hearthstone group and the Level Up hobbies and games.
And to kind of reiterate that, we normally do our fireside gathering the last Sunday of the month. That will not happen on the last Sunday of the month this time. It is happening this coming Sunday.
Correct.
So it's 1 week earlier than we normally do it, and we're going to be doing it at Level Up Games instead of at the Technology Cooperative.
Level Up Games is going to be on Saturday, and we're going to have ours on Sunday at Level Up Games.
Level Up. Yes, that's
so
correct. So
2 fireside gatherings this weekend, and you get to watch the tournament, and you get to win swag. It's win-win.
Yeah,
we're going to have prizes to give away. So excited.
Come see us.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. All right, with that said, let's talk about this N'Zoth Rogue we've mentioned 3 or 4 times already. So this was a pretty popular deck last weekend during the EU prelims. This was up there with Warlock Zoo and Tempo Warrior and Shaman as one of the big decks that was played at the tournament. We've been playing around with this deck a lot. It's a lot of fun. This deck consists of 2 Backstab, 2 Eviscerate, 2 Sap, 1 Blood Mage Thalnos, 1 Loot Hoarder, 2 Undercity Huckster, 2 Fan of Knives, 1 Shadow Strike, 2 SI7 Agents, 2 Unearthed Raptors, 1 Defender of Argus, 2 Tomb Pillagers, 1 Twilight Summoner, 1 Zeril Poisoned Mind, 2 Azure Drakes, 1 Dark Iron Skulker, 2 Shadowcasters, 1 Cairn Bloodhoof, 1 Sylvanas Windrunner, and 1 N'Zoth the Corruptor. Now, this deck is played a lot like... It's basically a... Would you say it's almost like a control rogue for Sika?
It is.
Okay.
Very much so. You have to control the board state.
You've been playing it a lot. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so this is a slightly modified version of the deck that Tice brought to the European Prelims. I had to modify it a little bit for ladder because while Tice may only face one Zulok, he always gets a chance to bring it back against something else, whereas on the ladder you tend to run against multiple fast decks. I added in the 2 Fan of Knives, and I added in Blood Mage Thalnos. I took out Edwin Van Cleef. I took out 1 Defender of Argus, and I took out 1 Twilight Summoner to make room for those cards. So far, I switched over to playing, like I said, I have a version of this that I call Ambush Rogue. I've been playing it almost since the set came out. In fact, I've played 4 times as much Rogue as I have Shaman. That just goes to tell you how much fun I've been having with it. I switched over to this Rogue when we discussed doing it about a week and a half ago, and my win rate is somewhere 85-90%. Okay. So it's fun. It's a thinking player's deck. I mean, you have to be patient. You have very limited resources in dealing with threats on the board, so you have to manage those resources creatively. And this is one of those decks where your life is a resource. I finished most of my games somewhere between 12 and 8 points of life. So it's definitely one where you can't be squeamish. You have to allow yourself to be able to be hit.
Yeah. So with this deck, obviously, you're kind of trying to control the board early until you can get to your threats like Zeril and the Summoner and Cairn and Sylvanas. Because you want your death rattles to die so that they can come back with N'Zoth later.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think the unsung hero of this particular deck is Undercity Huckster. There have been multiple, and this deck struggles against Priest, so I try to kill and copy as many Undercity Hucksters as possible, because somewhere in those, if you don't know what it does, it's a 2/2, its death rattle is, when it dies, you get a random spell from your opponent. So playing against a Priest, you have a pretty good shot that you're going to get a decent elimination spell of some kind. So I try to... Your Shadowcasters allow you to put a copy of the minion in your hand, turns them into a 1/1, and you can play them for 1. So that's a way to get other Undercity Hucksters. Your Unearthed Raptor can copy their Death Rattle. And it's very tempting to wait and try to copy Cairn's Death Rattle or Sylvanas' Death Rattle. But I've found that it's much more practical to concentrate on Loot Hoarder and Undercity Huckster to try to get those Death Rattles really going. If you're having trouble getting combos, this deck doesn't have prep. So Tomb Pillagers and Zeril is great for building those combo spells in your hand. And you'll see as we play the deck how important they are. They're really the main cogs that drive the deck. N'Zoth is a great finisher. But a lot of times I've had to use him just as another board clear, relying on the spells that come back to me as a way to end the game.
I really, really like this deck. I'm not a big Rogue player, and I went 8-2 with it. And I'll admit those 2 losses were probably because of misplays from learning the deck. I went from rank 16 to 13 in a heartbeat with this. I really like Undercity Huckster, but I think the biggest benefit of this deck is that Unearthed Raptor, because every Death Rattle in here is good at handling other classes. Obviously, Undercity Huckster is good, especially when you're playing like Priest or Paladin, to get some of their class cards that are really powerful and synergize with your stuff. If you're not running into that and you just need to get good beefy bodies on the board, like against Druid, Twilight Summoner is really good, and so because of that, the Unearthed Raptor can copy all of those death rattles. So it really allows you to be flexible and change your game plan as you go. It's like having 4 copies of a card in the deck sometimes. And that brings me to Shadowcaster. Shadowcaster is a 5-mana 4/4 that lets you take a copy of a minion in your hand for 1 mana, and it's a 1/1. When you do that to a Twilight Summoner, which is a 4-mana 1/1 with a death rattle of summon a 5/5, it's like getting nothing but value because the only thing it changes is the 4 cost to 1 mana. So I had a game at one point that I ended up having like 5 faceless those faceless summoners, the 5/5s on the board at one time, and my opponent just couldn't handle the board swell. And when he finally did handle it, I N'Zoth.
It's very easy to put your opponent in a position of having to remove faceless summoners first body before they're ready, because if they don't, you're just going to copy the death rattle. Mm-hmm. If you do, they have to deal with the 5/5 that it leaves behind. It's a very good feeling to put them in that condition. It's like, all right, decide which one you want to do. So
it's really neat. I had a situation where I got a Shadowcaster out and I copied, I believe I copied a Twilight Summoner. Well, they didn't kill the Shadowcaster. The next turn, I used Shadowcaster on my Shadowcaster so I could have a 1-cost Shadowcaster. And then I threw out the next turn Sylvanas, and then the 1-cost Shadowcaster to copy Sylvanas, and then Sylvanas again. They managed the board really well, cleared it. I was playing against a Paladin, so they did Wild Pyromancer Equality combo. Well, then I hit N'Zoth on the board, and when the 1-cost 1/1 Sylvanas dies, it actually comes back as a 5/5.
Yep.
So I had 2 Sylvanas. Now, one thing to remember, and this has messed me up a couple times, your Unearthed Raptors will not come back. They're not death rattle minions.
Correct.
They only copy the death rattle. So there were times that I thought I was going to get more death rattles back when I only got 2 or 3 because I miscounted and didn't realize that the Unearthed Raptors were what I was counting as death rattle minions. Yep. So you have to kind of, there is some brains that need to be used in this deck. And I made a few mistakes with it, but it's really powerful deck.
I actually think that the unearthed Raptors and that specific instance that you're talking about, I think that's the main reason why this deck is the second N'Zoth deck as far as popularity goes. The first being the Control Paladin with N'Zoth, because they feel like they get more value out of N'Zoth at the end. But for me, it's more about the journey than the destination. I love playing this deck. It's very active. It requires you to be hands-on, and you have to pay attention to what's going on. You have to know what's been played. You have to know what you're playing against. You have to know when to do what. And it forces you to be a better Hearthstone player. It's a great teaching deck. It's difficult, but if you can master this deck, you can play any Hearthstone deck.
And I'll say how strong I am about this deck. I went and I disenchanted some of my less used wild cards, including legendaries, because I needed 4,000 dust to make Zeril, N'Zoth, and 2 Shadowcasters.
Yep.
So, and I was telling myself, this better be a good deck. This better be a good deck, because I was going to be so mad if it was horrible. But man, I'm happy. I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm very happy.
And to answer Matt at Arms' question in chat, he's on audio only. Journey Below is not in this deck, and honestly, the biggest reason why is because most of the time, the death rattle minions that you were getting didn't provide significant enough value, even on the first time out, as something like a Shadow Strike or something like a Defender of Argus. Plus, that death rattle comes back with N'Zoth, so if it wasn't good the first time, it's probably not going to be good the second time either. One of the death rattles that I pulled from that was actually the new Healbot, and I actually lost the game because he killed Healbot. When in N'Zoth, I had him at 6 health, but I had to get through a bunch of his other creatures. It brought back the Healbot, ended up healing him. By the time it was all said and done, I lost, and he was back at like 12 health.
Yeah.
So it can create some shenanigans that you don't necessarily want.
Yeah.
And N'Zoth is really, you want to try and control the amount of power that N'Zoth brings back. So if you can Shadowcaster Cairn, you can Shadowcaster Sylvanas, you want to try to do those. You just don't want to wait for them. Don't miss a chance to Shadowcaster under a Dark Iron Skulker or a Zeril, or even an SI agent, SI7 agent. You can Shadowcaster and use the combo again. I've had to use that to clear. You have to be really creative with your clears because the amount of actual power to go to face is limited.
Yeah.
Like I never use Eviscerate to face.
One more thing to touch on for the Journey Below question is Journey Below in the Rogue deck is not as strong as the Priest N'Zoth, where they use Museum Curator. The reason Museum Curator is used in the Priest N'Zoth deck is because you have a high probability of getting Shifting Shade, which has great synergy with the N'Zoth mechanic in that deck because you're taking stuff from your opponent's deck. It's obviously you would love to get Undercity Huckster from it, but it's less likely you're going to get an Undercity Huckster than getting another Deathrattle minion, because there are a few Deathrattles in Rogue that were in Priest. It's pretty in Standard. That's pretty much it. Is the Shifting Shade. I like the idea of Journey Below, but I could see where it could go wrong a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's been tested thoroughly because this has been used by Tice.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm excited to see how this deck plays. I know I've not played it. I didn't get a chance to this week. I've been so swamped with preparations for spring prelims. So
are you busy?
Yeah, I know, right?
Surely you're not busy.
So I'm excited to see how this deck plays. So, all right, guys. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned as we are moving into the live play portion of our show. If you are listening to us via the audio podcast at this time, we'd like to thank you for joining us. And remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. And you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you can help to support and improve it by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And as always, we will see you again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power this weekend at the spring prelims. Yeah, see what I did there?
All
Okay.
right. Rasika, while I load up here, you got something for us for Viforce?
Just, guys, go to our site, HeroPowerHS.com. Check it out. There's a wealth of information on there, but the Viforce link is on there as well. So click on that Viforce link, go to their website, check out what they got going on. Great machines, great value. They have great customer service. And check out the Impulse. Like I said, we're going to have one on display this weekend. Come by, check it out, and I can't say it enough. It's the most bang for your buck that you're going to get. So check them out. If you're even thinking, if you're even considering buying a new computer, check out Viforce Gaming first. I can promise you're going to get more bang for your buck than going to a box store.
All right. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Let's do this.
I'm ready. I didn't go anywhere. What?
Yes, if you and to put Matt at arms, answer a couple of his questions. If you don't have Zeril, definitely put Journey Below in your deck because there is a good chance that you will pick him up. I tended to pick up things like Corrupted Hoarder and the like I said, the new heal bot, and I just wasn't seeming to draw very many great minions from it. Okay, so we are going first. In our hand, we have Unearthed Raptor, Blood Mage Thalnos, and Shadow Strike.
I can't spectate you, sir. Do you have spectate turned off?
You know what? I think I do.
Well, that's not good.
Sorry. Try again.
There we
Here
go.
we go.
Okay, so I'm thinking this is Zoo probably. So I'm going to throw back the Unearthed Raptor, and I will probably keep the other 2 cards. What do you guys think?
I think that's probably a solid play.
Yeah.
And we got an N'Zoth instead. That's not exactly great news. Okay, so our draw, we have a Twilight Summoner. So that means we are, without a doubt, going to pass. Even if we didn't want to, we don't have a choice. Yes, I had Spectate turned off because I was playing Ambush Rogue, and I did want to save that for our patrons. So, let's see.
Turn 2, we drew an Azure Drake.
Yes, we drew an Azure Drake. We could cast Blood Mage Thalnos, but he's probably just going to get Mortal Coiled.
Yeah.
And we really want to save that spell power for later if we can.
So hero
So
power?
I'm going to Hero Power and Dagger to the face.
Excellent.
Yeah, keeping the dagger isn't terribly important here. We're not running Blade Flurry or anything like that, so.
Right. And we don't there's no deadly poisons in the deck, so.
Yeah.
There's the Dark Peddler.
Yep.
And saving Blood Mage is great for Fan of Knives, especially against Zoo.
So we are drawing into more high cards as we just drew Sylvanas. This is one of those times where I tell you that your life total is used as a resource, as we will not attack the Dark Peddler. We will go to face and dagger up.
Okay.
We're probably looking at a Councilman turn pretty soon, and Shadow Strike is actually really good for dealing with the Councilman.
Mm-hmm. There he is.
Yep. So we want to make sure that we get rid of him. Shadow Strike is deal 5 damage to an undamaged character. That is a great target for it.
We also just drew into Eviscerate. We also just drew into Eviscerate. And we can Blood Mage Thalnos into Eviscerate if we would like.
That is a play, but...
It is, but Thalnos is going to be needed, I have a feeling, here in just a little bit for a fan play.
I agree with you.
So we will Shadow Strike the Councilman. We don't want him getting any bigger. And we will dagger to the face. And pass the turn.
Would not be surprised if we see the Forbidden Tentacles or Forbidden Ritual.
Elise Starseeker.
I have seen this version recently. It's less of a zoo and more of kind of a tempo mid-range warlock.
So we just drew into a Shadowcaster on turn 5. Do you think we play the Azure Drake here and cycle the card?
You know, that would be the normal play, but I actually would like to put our Warlock friend in a little bit of a pickle. I think Twilight Summoner is the play here.
Okay.
I like it.
So we put Twilight Summoner on the board. It's a 1/1. He gets to either kill it this turn and deal with the 5/5, or I'm going to run it into the Dark Peddler next turn. I will not dagger this time because I don't have enough mana to recast it, and I want to finish off the Dark Peddler if he decides not to take out the Summoner.
That's smart. I like that.
So Matt at Arms in chat is saying that this is a Renounced Darkness Warlock. That sounds about right.
There's a Renounced Darkness Warlock?
Mm-hmm.
Darkness in my time in the ladder so far. That's interesting. I think he really doesn't want us to copy that Death Rattle or Shadowcaster it.
So he cast corruption on our 5/5 faceless.
Yep.
So.
And then he tossed out a Jeweled Scarab. Wow, this looks like it could be a Renounced Darkness. I would have no clue, but
All right, so we drew Tomb Pillager. I think this is a great turn to play Tomb Pillager and eviscerate Elise and send the 5 to the face.
we don't want to use it to clear a minion since it's going to die.
Well,
Balance.
I mean, we could, but what are we saving? What are we saving the eviscerate for then?
No. I think we should Tomb Pillager, eviscerate Elise, run the 5/5 into the 2/2, and then dagger the 1/1, clearing the board and leaving us with a 5/4. That way he can't do any power overwhelming shenanigans to kill our 5/4 too quick.
Yeah, but I actually want the 5/4 to die.
Okay.
So you get the coin.
Right.
Fair enough. So we're just going to leave the 2/2 Dark Peddler on the board then.
Right.
Okay.
We'll deal 5 to the face, and then I will kill the scarab with my dagger.
Okay.
So now he has to, if he wants to clear the Tomb Pillager, he has to waste a card. 2 cards to take out my 1. And if he doesn't, I could always draw into a Dark Iron Skulker next turn.
And there's the Sense Demons. Matt at Arms just said in chat, if he plays Sense Demons, it confirms this is Renounced Darkness Warlock.
Yep.
I've never seen this deck. I'm really interested in this. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, see, now I think we play Azure Drake and draw the card.
Depending what we get. Oh, another Huckster. We drew a Huckster and then we drew another Huckster.
So we'll play Undercity Huckster.
I like that. There's some really powerful Warlock cards we could get.
Yep. Now my bet is he'll probably clear the Huckster with the 2/2 Peddler. No, he's going to send it into the Drake. And Demon Wrath?
Demon Wrath?
Hellfire, yeah.
This could almost be Reno Cthulhu.
Well, I mean, I think Matt at Arms
has a pretty good idea, yeah.
Yeah, Forsen's playing it.
Okay, so we drew a backstab. So I say play Blood Mage Thanos, backstab, dagger up, and take out the Elder.
That's a good idea.
First.
And we got a tiny Knot of Evil off the Undercity Huckster.
Yeah. And so we will go ahead and play that with the other Undercity Huckster to put a few threats on the board. Well, he's at 17 health. Yeah. So, I mean, even our tiny threats have been doing a little bit of damage.
He's at 17, we're at 15, so it's pretty close. There's the Mortal Coil on the Blood Mage.
This isn't terrible. We both draw a card.
Yeah.
Sap. That'll be good when he finally gets a big threat on the board.
He uses Disciple of Cthulhu to kill our tiny Knot of Evil.
He life tapped, putting him at 15.
Twilight Geomancer. I'm not a fan of this. To me, Cthulhu's usually your win condition. Giving it taunt to me doesn't make a lot of difference.
All right, so I say we drew an Azure Drake, so I say let's play the Drake.
Okay.
See what we get off the draw. Got a Shadowcaster.
The golden Shadowcaster.
Yeah.
Do we go ahead and sap the taunt so we can clear out the 2/1?
Yep, sap the taunt. Clear the 2/1 with our dagger. Huckster to the face. And re-dagger. And we are both at 13.
Okay.
We haven't had a lot of Deathrattle die. But we do have N'Zoth in our hands, so that's...
Yes, and we've got Sylvanas, which we're going to cast next turn and Shadowcaster her. Thanks to the coin we got from the village.
Yeah. I was like, that can't be done, but we have the coin.
There's Sylvanas.
Yep. And ours will go off second. So that's a good thing. Oh. I still say we stick with the original plan.
I agree.
Yeah.
You run our Drake into his 1/4 taunt, 2/2 to face, Sylvanas, and Shadowcaster it.
That gives us a second Shadowcaster in our hand that we could hit with the SI7 agent if we had to.
Yeah, but then he can take our Sylvanas if he plays it right. So let's clear the 1/4 with our Drake.
Okay.
Let's Huckster into Sylvanas. SI agent, Shadowcaster, SI agent.
I like the original play you said because whatever he takes, we can take back with our 1-cost Sylvanas.
Okay. We'll do it.
Yeah, because he'll do that and get ours, but we'll just get it right back. Because all we'll have to do is throw out the 1-cost Sylvanas and then SI agent our own Sylvanas.
Okay, so I ran the Ezra Drake into the taunt, sent the Huckster to his face. He's at 10. We're at 13. We have a Shadowcaster, 4/4 Shadowcaster on the board. We have 5/5 Sylvanas, a 2/2 Undercity Huckster, and the Ezra Drake, which has taken 1 point of damage at a 4/3. We have 1 charge on our dagger. So we're threatening lethal. He has to deal with the board. He actually has to deal with most of the board.
Oh, he's going to go to face with Sylvanas.
And then he's going to Shadow Flamer.
It doesn't get him anything.
It clears the board. Twisting
Nether.
Doesn't get anything.
That's okay. That clears the board. Oh! And we got Jiraxxus off of the Undercity Huckster.
Okay, so the right play would probably be N'Zoth. The cool play would be Jiraxxus and Sylvanas.
Oh, we're going to Jiraxxus. We're going to Jiraxxus Sylvanas. Now, I wonder if I attack with the dagger and then Jiraxxus.
I just want to be the voice of caution here. What are the chances he's running Sacrificial Pact?
I doubt it.
Yeah, surely not.
But what a way to lose if he is. So I'm okay with it. Let's do this. I'm going to lay Sylvanas.
Do we backstab Sylvanas right now?
Yes.
And take his
We're going to
2/4?
backstab Sylvanas to take his imp.
And then we Jiraxxus. And now we're the Warlock. We're playing Renounce Darkness.
Right, and now we are Jiraxxus.
Go to face.
And so I will go to face for 3.
This is
and laugh all the way.
This is awesome. This is fun.
Please play Sacrificial Pact. I'm okay with losing it.
Ooze.
Destroyed our weapon with a acidic swamp ooze.
And
there's Reno Jackson.
Oh.
I got Reno Jackson. I'm about to heal. When you think that I'm about to die.
So now we are going to play.
We don't N'Zoth?
No, not yet.
Because we'll get what?
Two Sylvanas and two Undercity Hucksters and a Blood Mage.
Yep. Patience, fellas. Patience.
Okay.
So we're going to loot Hoarder. SI7 agent.
We have to clear one of the 3/2s with the imp, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And we're going to hero power.
The 6/6.
Yep.
And that's the thing, when you get Jiraxxus, you want to hero power every turn.
Yep. We just want to put him
in
in a situation where he has to use that second board clear, which I'm pretty sure is either
Doom.
I'm pretty sure it's Doom.
Yeah, it's basically filled a spot. See, now he's counting. Will I overdraw if I do?
Yeah.
And he will.
Siphon Soul.
So he's probably got Cthulhu in hand, and he wants to have enough to do lethal.
Yep. Ooh. What's that do? Nothing right now. So we're going to go ahead and start clearing, right?
Yep. Go ahead and clear that.
Do we dissolve?
And we N'Zoth.
Do you want to? Okay.
It won't matter because they come back regardless. And we got a Sylvanas, a Twilight Summoner, and a Huckster off of our
Yeah,
N'Zoth.
I was thinking maybe we should have run the Loot Hoarder into the 4/6 to clear up another spot.
No, the reason why is you want Cthulhu targets.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
even if
we
we
would've
would have
had
done
the
that,
same
we would have
number.
still had the same number because you
Actually,
got
we'd have
another creature
Favorite
back.
bodies. Well, drain life.
Oh, yes, Dark Iron Skulker. But not yet.
No, you should run Sylvanas into the. Oh wait, you can't because he has taunt.
Yeah.
Right. But that's absolutely okay.
I'm just trying to see if there's a way we can get rid of Reno so we don't get him.
So we guarantee we get the 11/11 Cthulhu taunt.
See, we can do 2 with the drain life, 2 with the Skulker.
Just Shadowcaster Sylvanas and then play it and see if we can kill it.
Yeah.
I don't think we can kill it this turn, but
Yeah, we won't be able to kill it, but I'd go ahead and just run into the Cthulhu and raise our chance of getting it. Okay, that's fine. We just kill off Cthulhu now. Draw a card.
might should have held on to that to kill off our other Sylvanas next turn.
But I like
That's
the
why
pressure.
I've got Drain Life.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Good call, Versika. We did use the SI7 agent to go to face to threaten some lethal.
And there's a Twin Emperor.
And we can take. Hopefully, we can take one of those 3 emperors.
We can take all of them.
We can clear them all.
So we're going to sap one of them.
Yeah.
We play Dark Iron Skulker. Reno, it's been real fun, but you're going away. No, you're not. You're still got 2 health. We're on the other one.
Is that lethal? 11? Yeah. Oh, we had lethal. I think we still have lethal. We didn't have to clear that, but
Oh,
I like. Oh, we had lethal.
we had lethal.
We did.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's all good. Oh no, it's not good. Well, that's not.
Oh
terrible
no,
still.
that's actually great.
It's still lethal.
Yep, still
Yeah.
lethal.
There was nothing he could do. It's like
All right.
making him say Mate.
That was fun. I mean,
Yeah. It's a fun deck.
that's one thing I like about it. It's competitive and fun. It keeps me wanting to play.
And anytime a rogue can win is Jiraxis, I'm just saying.
That's right.
Yeah, that was fun. That was unexpected fun.
That was like Espo level fun.
Fun guaranteed.
That's right.
I had hoped he was going to play another minion worth getting,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to take a chance on getting Bran, and I had to get through all the taunts to get there. So
Yeah. So
Very
game 2, we're playing a mage, and our opening hand is Zeril, Dark Iron Skulker, Shadow Strike, and SI7 Agent.
And we have the coin.
And we do have the coin.
We're against mage. There's not a lot of SI7 agent targets early on, other than
yeah. Sorcerer's
Sorcerer.
Apprentice.
Sorcerer's Apprentice is really the big one.
Yep. And
I'd like
if
to
they're
keep it
tempo
with the
mage,
coin.
yeah, SI7 Agent, Shadow Strike are both good to keep tempo mage from getting control of the board early. Dark
Even
Iron
Zeril-
Skulker isn't bad, and Zeril's not bad. I'm actually thinking I'll probably keep the whole thing.
And play it slow.
Yep.
Okay.
We're not really grabbing anything of our early stuff, but our early stuff really wouldn't give us much presence. Early Mana Worm, naturally.
Yeah, so we're just going to pass this over.
Yep.
see if the second card played reveals what's going on. There we go. Okay.
Coin SI onto the sorcerer.
Coin SI onto the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yep. We last 2 turns we drew into N'Zoth and Tomb Pillager.
Yep. So now our 3/3 is on the board against their 1/3. He's not played a spell yet. My bet is probably Arcane Missiles. Nope, Frostbolt.
Yep. He probably would have wanted Arcane Missiles, but
yeah. All right. This is where using your health as a resource comes in handy. I will not waste my 1 Shadow Strike on this Mana Worm just yet.
now
I'll go ahead and hit him.
you're
to
going to
the
go face, right? Okay.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't want to hit the minion because we have Dark Iron Skulker that we could use with our dagger in a
Exactly.
couple turns. Okay.
This is why I kept Dark Iron Skulker.
This is good. This is good.
So-
you think a Zeril?
Nope.
No, I'd play a Tomb Pillager.
Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
But not
Playing
Twilight
Twilight Summoner.
playing around Arcane Missiles?
Yep.
And we can use him to run into the 4/3 instead of our face.
Because now if he plays Arcane Missiles or if he plays the Flame Waker, which I'm sure he has in his hand, he
That's a
runs the risk of
liability.
putting the 5/5.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Even more Skulker
Yeah,
targets.
so now we're going to play the Skulker. He's going to deal 2 damage to everything on my opponent's side.
Including what he threw out, which was a Cult Sorcerer 3/2 spell dash +1.
So now I'm going to run my 1/1 into his 5/1 Mana Worm.
Nice.
So now we have a 4/3 and a 5/5 on the board. He's at 28. We're at 18.
And Water Elemental is probably, I think it's still in this deck. And Blood Mage Shadow Strike works really well with it.
Yep. We have Blood Mage in our hand. Shadow Strike is just going to be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I see value. Water Elemental, there we go. Called it.
Yep. Good call.
He's setting up for Flame Strike. So we
Yep.
know we're going to see a Flame Strike next turn.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm okay at this point.
That's
with
fine.
that.
Yeah.
So I throw out Blood Mage. I go ahead, deal the 6 damage. Have 1 mana left over. I don't like leaving leftover mana, but he's taking 9.
Yeah.
Yep. And when he Flame Strikes, he's going to have nothing on the
Right.
board.
It's basically Flame Strike past the turn.
Yep. Now, do we Tomb Pillager Unearthed Raptor or do we Zeril Unearthed Raptor here?
I think we Zeril Unearthed Raptor.
Because that we're going to get better value out of that Death Rattle.
Correct. And see, at this point, we're just reloading.
And we got a Fade Leaf Toxin, which gives a friendly minion stealth until your next turn. That's pretty good.
There's the Flame Waker and the Arcane Missiles.
Yep.
He killed our Zeril.
Which is fine.
Dealt no damage to the Raptor, and then played another Water Elemental.
Got
So
a
what I'm
King's
going to do
Blood
here
Toxin.
is I'm going to go ahead and cast Tomb Pillager. Then I'm
Defender?
going to Defender of Argus.
Yeah.
I'm going to run into the Flame Waker to take him out. And I'm going to go ahead and backstab the Water Elemental, so regardless of which of my minions he decides to target, it's going to die.
Okay.
I like that.
Hopefully this encourages him to attack the Raptor.
Right. He's going to Arcane Missile first.
He's really hoping a lot of this goes to face. So he can clear the Tomb Pillager, but he's going to have to use 2 mana for his hero power.
Right.
He's going to Hero Power to face, and then
Yeah,
run the
he's-
Water Elemental into the Raptor.
He's trying to threaten lethal. We got a Briarthorn Toxin, which is really good.
Yeah. So we're going to draw a card first.
Yeah. Draw a card with the King's Blood Toxin.
Oh.
So now
keep
I
taunt for days if we
say
want.
we Undercity Huckster
can do 12
Tomb
points.
Pillager, and Briarthorn.
I like that. Briarthorn on the 2/2
Yes.
to give him more targets to have to clear.
Yep. So he's going to take 11. And I think just for good measure, we're going to stealth our Tomb Pillager. That way, if he has any other AoE removal, he's got to cast it now.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
going to
main
make
reason-
our N'Zoth turn next turn even more powerful.
Oh no! Double fireball,
Yep.
ping face. Ah.
Oh, well.
And normally I don't like stealthing a taunt, but there's not much threat of charge minions in mage.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so we're 1-1. We'll go ahead and do one more game.
And mage is a tough matchup for this deck. It really comes down to who gets the best curve and draw. And he just got all his burn. Like all of it. And then he drew some more.
Well, I mean, we were an arcane missile going to a minion rather than our face away from winning that match. So
Man at Arms said, "Buy one." I love the Undercity Huckster because he's like, he puts aggressive salesmanship to the max. Buy
So
one.
So in this one, we are going first. We drew Zeril, Unearthed Raptor, and Shadow Strike. I am probably going to throw it all back, but Shadow Strike.
And another mage. Muffin top at that. I like that.
Twilight Summoner and Shadowcaster was what we drew in replacement. So we don't have a
Shadowcaster
choice
plays-
but to go slow in this one.
Yeah, Shadowcaster
Oh.
plays around. Oh, there we go.
Top decked an Undercity Huckster.
We'll get him next turn,
Yep.
yeah.
So Undercity Huckster will hit the board next turn.
That'll threaten whatever he puts out. Oh, nothing.
Fan of Knives will be nice for later.
He passed his first turn, so he
So
did not
we-
get his mana worm.
We ask him if he wants to buy a funnel cake. We will hear his response.
Funnel cake. He didn't say nothing about funnel cakes, does he?
Yeah, he does.
Oh.
Want to buy a funnel cake?
Oh, is that what he says? I
Yep.
missed that.
And that's when he attacks. That's when he says, buy one. Our opponent did not want a funnel cake and promptly frost bolted our Undercity Huckster.
We got an
Giving us
arcane missile. That's not
arcane missiles.
great.
We drew Dark Iron Skulker. And so this turn we will dagger, hero power, hit him in the face, and pass. And actually, Arcane Missiles isn't bad because Dark Iron Skulker does the 2 damage to undamaged minions. We can follow with Arcane Missiles.
Yep, sure can.
Be a great finisher. We also have Phantom Knives in our hand too. So, and he hero powered us
Wow.
right back.
Freeze mage?
I think you
Maybe.
play the Twilight Summoner here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And I
Use
will
your hero
go
power
ahead.
on that, buddy.
Yep. Hero power fireball? No. Yeah. So we're definitely playing. Is this that? This is. Is it Dragon Reno?
Hmm. What do you think about just sapping that?
I think that's a good idea.
Either that or Shadowcaster. One of the two.
I could see the value in that, but we can probably do that next turn.
Yeah.
So I say you are correct. Let's go ahead and sap that so he has to cast it again. It'll be a little bigger next turn, but that's okay. We'll dagger up, send in the summoner, hit him with the dagger. Yeah, I'm thinking this is probably that Dragon Reno that's been running around.
Yeah. Which control versus control, that's not terrible. It's not terrible matchup. This does pretty good against other control decks.
Yeah. So he does decide to cast it again. Makes him waste a turn pretty much.
Makes him waste a turn pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping for.
Well, we can't backstab that with Shadow Strike, unfortunately.
No. But I want it because I want to hit what follows. What normally follows this with it. So I am going to Shadowcaster the Faceless Summoner.
And put one right back out.
And put another one right back out.
I like that.
And Faceless to the face. And Hero Power to the face.
And he believed that was amazing play.
He did. He did. A little bit of BM, but that's okay.
Man-at-Arms Colin Reno Mage. That sounds about right. Freeze Mage. Crappy tempo draw.
There's Sylvanas.
Is N'Zoth in that new Reno Mage?
No.
So how do you propose we deal with Sylvanas?
I say we Fan of Knives, Defender of Argus, the two summoners, send it into the Twilight Drake, and then force him to run into one of the summoners.
Okay.
See what we draw first.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to play Tomb Pillager in on this. So we could get lucky and he could pull the Defender over.
So,
and this ensures that we're going to get those Twilight Summoners from N'Zoth when that eventually comes.
Correct. This also, because we have Shadow Strike in our hand, he's going to waste his Sylvanas. If he gets a 5/5, we'll just Shadow Strike it.
That's right. Crazy heads-up play would be still one of the 5/5s and then ping it. But I don't think he's going to do that.
He's ensuring he gets a 5/5.
well, a 5/3 now.
Yeah.
Which we now can't Shadow Strike.
That's correct.
Oh!
He went face. So, what do you... Well,
I say we give him another target.
Yeah.
Loot Hoarder and Unearthed Raptor, maybe?
I almost wouldn't mind giving him a couple of targets. Yep.
Loot Hoarder, Unearthed Raptor.
I like it.
Dagger up.
Put him at 24.
Or
23.
Oh, sorry, 23.
Math are hard.
Yep, so we got Shadow Strike, Arcane Missiles, Dark Iron Skulker, Backstab, and Tomb Pillager in our hand. One charge on the dagger. We have 2 5/3 Faceless Destroyers on the board. He hero powered our Loot Hoarder, and we have Unearthed Raptor.
And we got a SI7 agent off of our Loot Hoarder. That's not bad.
He just Defender of Argus his Sylvanas.
Which actually makes it a SI7 agent target, which isn't terrible.
So what about, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What about playing the Tomb Pillager, the Blood Mage, and then SI7ing the Sylvanas and seeing what he gets?
We don't want him to get the Tomb Pillager, though.
Right.
Okay.
We could Blood Mage, backstab the 2/3, and then SI7
Sylvanas. I like that. So
And then if he
Mage.
if he gets the Blood Mage, we can actually dagger it down.
Right.
And then we can Tomb Pillager.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. Go
So
face for
smacking
10.
Go ahead and throw out Tomb Pillager.
Yep. This is going to
12.
prompt a Reno.
Yep.
I really
Flame
think it
Striker
is.
Reno's got to happen here.
Yeah. Flame Striker Reno. Nope.
Unless he just doesn't have an answer.
May not. Because
And
right
if he
now
doesn't
he's
have an
lethal.
answer, then Arcane Missiles finishes him.
Well,
Yeah.
Dagger finishes him.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
we're
mean-
not going to use the dagger.
He's gonna ping the Blood Mage. I mean, he'll have to.
Yeah. Forgotten Torch to kill our other Faceless.
So let's
Yeah.
see here.
Ping
We have
off the Blood
5.
Mage.
We have 5. With the Azure Drake. Well, he's got the target in the way. We get Azure Drake,
Shadow Strike.
Shadow Strike, and then Arcane Missiles is another 4. Oh, is that lethal?
No. Well,
Yep.
is it?
We can't. No, we're 1 mana short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 1 mana short.
I like. Yeah, just threaten it for now.
Yep.
Leave the burn in our hand. Because we can sap whatever he puts out, Arcane Missile and Eviscerate.
Yep.
Or he's going to Reno.
Yeah, or Arena.
Oh, it's off the top of his deck. Frost Nova.
Frost Nova.
Yep, I believe that's lethal. Then.
Doomsayer. Yep.
That's lethal.
Oh. Oh yeah, but we
No.
don't. We won't activate Ice Block.
No.
You won't?
No.
Oh, we won't activate Ice Barrier.
We
will
would activate Ice
Block.
Block. Yes, that's correct.
So
So-
The trick is not. To
I would
be-
Arcane Missile first.
Let's see what we get from Zeril.
Okay.
That's what I was hoping.
That's what we need.
Yep.
That
We
pretty
got the
much-
Fire Bloom Toxin.
Okay. I was worried about Counterspell, but that definitely. This is Ice Block.
Yep.
It is. Okay. That's cool. We got the burn, though. Dagger up, pass.
Yeah, and that's the reason I use the Magic Missile or the Arcane Missiles instead of the Eviscerate is because it hits one at a time. So
Don't think you wanted us to pop his block so soon.
no.
Another Cone of Cold.
He's got to freeze our face.
Heal for 3, which puts him at
That's
4.
fine. That's fine.
Doomsayer. He's still dead.
Yeah,
Yep.
Skulker Eviscerate does it.
Or Backstab.
Backstab
Eviscerate.
Eviscerate. Yeah. We can get fancy with it. It's all cool. Or just do it all.
He's an adult. He'll do what he won't.
That's right. You don't know me. I do what I want.
All right. So there you go.
Excellent.
This deck is crazy fun to play. As Zeroshio said, it's a little bit on the expensive side, but
Worth
it's worth it.
Absolutely. A lot of fun. A lot of
Yep.
fun to be had.
So remember, if you are a patron, there will be a different version of this deck coming up on our patron site sometime in the next couple of days. I'm going to go ahead and record it tomorrow. So once that happens, I'll hand it over to Avani's. He'll work his magic, and there you go.
Yep, it'll be on our site, patreon.com/heropower.
And that's something we're going to try to do more patron only content. Probably try to do one a week. We just kind of came up with this idea, so we haven't really built in a system or schedule yet. But once we do, we'll have more news on our patron Facebook page.
That's right. All right, guys. Last minute thoughts. Zeroshio, what you got for us?
Come out this weekend. We got some cool new Hero Power shirts we're going to be wearing.
Yes,
Probably on
they came
Saturday.
today. Yep.
We've got all kinds of swag and giveaways and prizes from Blizzard. It's going to be fun. Just come out, have fun. We're probably going to try to do a dinner with some of our listeners where we go out and we'll go out to eat, and you're welcome to join us.
Yeah, we're not buying.
We're not buying, but you're welcome to join us for dinner probably Saturday night, or we'll schedule all that when we're there. So if any of our listeners are in the local area or just outside and want to come visit,
Yellow Dart.
yeah, that's right, Atlanta. Come on, Florida fell through, so come on up.
Yep.
Yeah,
we come down for Dragon Con.
That's you
Just
guys
saying.
I can't do Dragon Con. That's too much money at bad timing. Anyways, come join us. It's going to be so much fun.
Absolutely. Rasika, what you got?
Just enjoy the meta. The meta is great right now. There is so much creativity going on. If you can come to the event, you should come up to the event. I think it's going to be fun just to have that many Hearthstone players in the same place and actually getting to not only participate if you're a participant, but get to see it live with other people who play the game out in a venue. I think it's going to be, something special.
Absolutely.
So I'm super excited, and just get out there and play. And now is the time to be crazy. Start just experimenting with decks because everyone is still experimenting. The meta is at a standstill, but I don't think it's going to stay there for long. I think it's going to continue to evolve over the course of the next several months. So now is the time. Get out there and experiment. You can do good things.
That's right.
You may find out something that no one else has really considered before. So get out there and explore.
And don't forget, if you do go out and you participate in any side events at any location, you will earn the Power Core card back. It's the only way to get it is to attend a official Blizzard esports event.
Yep.
If you can't make it out to an event, guys, twitch.tv/play Hearthstone. This weekend, there is going to be some awesome Hearthstone being played. Tune in, check it out. Chat with us. Let us know what you thought about it. Send us an email at the end of the weekend. Tell us what you liked about the spring prelims, what you didn't. We'd love to discuss it with you.
Yes, this is going to be a snapshot of the Americas meta. So if you want to know what you're going to be playing against, by all means, this is what to watch.
Yeah, whatever wins this tournament, or in the top 8, really, will end up on a ladder. That's what we're seeing right now. The reason we had so much trouble with the zoo is because so many people were putting Jockey Zoo on the ladder, so everybody started teching against it. Right now, there's a lot of Shaman hate on the ladder right now because Shaman's been real popular in the tournament scene and on the meta, so everybody's teching against it. That's when you take your opening and go, if everybody's teching against these decks, then this 4th or 5th place winner had this really cool deck that nobody's really teching against. Let me throw that up there because it's proven to get really high in the tournament, beat out 150 other people. So this is the funnest time, the funnest, most funniest.
At this point, just throw it all out there.
It is the most fun I've had playing Hearthstone in a very long time, and I've been still having fun in Hearthstone. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this week. We'll have a full recap of the Americas Spring Preliminaries for you guys next week. Plus, may even have some picks from our event that I can throw up on the stream. So. All right, guys. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Please do us a favor and hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so, and give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted as to when we go live. Also, remember to check out our Patreon, because we're going to have Patreon-only videos for you guys starting hopefully this weekend. If I can get Whip Versika into shape, get him to film that video tomorrow. So anybody that checks us out and follows us on Patreon and donates, you will have access to those videos. So for more details, check out patreon.com/heropower. And as always,
iTunes reviews.
Yeah, iTunes reviews. So as always, guys, good gaming.